Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ESPN's Football Forecast with myself, James Alcott, my good friend Hugh Wizencroft, and Mark Ogden joins us as well from ESPN. Mark, we've got to talk about Paul Pogba straight away with this one, because of course we're going to preview a lot of the big games in the second round of games of Euro 2020. But that final game of the first round, France against Germany, I felt like Paul Pogba was the man of the match for me in a game that was quite interesting in terms of the dominance of Germany with the ball, but France looking so attractive, certainly defensively and then with the ball on the counter-attack. But Paul Pogba, on Twitter, everyone's talking about him and his role and the fact that he was fantastic for France. And sometimes we don't see that with Manchester United. How did you see the game and Paul Pogba's performance?
Yeah, I thought the game was like watching a Champions League game. It was just at that real high intensity, the quality. You could see the players on both sides, top players from the top clubs, and it really felt like an occasion. It was the game that we've all been waiting for, really. I think, I was watching the Spain game on Monday, and I felt that we were still waiting for the potential winners to play, and that was the Group F games yesterday, France, Germany, Portugal, Hungary. So I thought the game was fantastic. I thought that France would deserve winners. But yeah, Paul Pogba, this is the guy that he divides opinions so much because he can play like that. But I think you have to say that, in fairness to Paul Pogba, when he plays for Man United, he doesn't have N'Golo Kante in the team, doesn't have Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, Karim Benzema, all these great players. So with France, he's able to do what he's best at. He's able to punish teams with these fantastic passing abilities, athleticism. When he plays for Man United, let's be honest, Fred is not N'Golo Kante. Anthony Martial is not Karim Benzema. You've got all these great players in the France team. And people say, well, Pogba's a great player. He won the World Cup with France. Yes, he did. But those players he plays at Man United are not the same level, so he can't play to the same level. His qualities are, enhanced by playing for France. And at times when he plays for Man United, I feel he's a luxury player that they can't afford because they haven't got the players of the quality that France have around him. So obviously when he goes looking for a big pass or when he goes breaking forward, there's nobody to cover him. So that's what it gets down to. If you want to boil it down to one thing, Fred is not a goal like Kante and never will be.
You, thoughts?
Well, I agree with virtually everything Mark said. That match was an embarrassment for everyone concerned with Manchester United, as far as I was concerned, because you've got to give great players a platform to perform. Manchester United have bought a world record at the time, world record signing midfielder Paul Pogba back to the club, and never at any point in his time there have they given him the ingredients, the factors that you need to really thrive. And look, we've always known what a great player is for his country. He looked happy. He looked relaxed. He looked comfortable. And at times with Manchester United, he's been moved about in terms of his position. We saw that in the Europa League final. They've never really nailed down where to get the best out of him in all of his time and all the managers that he's had. So it's not really any particular manager's fault, but you've got to say that with France, with Didier Deschamps, the recipe has been far more simple. I agree with Mark. It helps when you've got world-class players all over the pitch, and I think France, they do, and N'Golo Kante helps, but of course the runs from Karim Benzema and the idea that you can just thread these beautiful through balls in behind the defence for Kylian and Matt Hummels having nightmares. Thank God he got back and got that ball in the end, but it just showed what he can do. And I think the whole tournament went up a level with those final games, not just France. You saw the quality of Germany. We'll talk about them in a moment. Not quite where they want to be, but they've still got fantastic players. And Portugal too, who scored 3, but really could have scored a couple more earlier on in that game as well. And I think we probably saw the potential winners of Euro 2020 from that group. But yeah, specifically on Paul Pogba, we're going to see more of this. We're going to have more of these conversations because he could easily go on to be one of the players of the tournament.
Yeah, Mark, what did you think about the idea of him playing on the right hand side a little bit more? Because I think what I thought was perfect for him was that he could look up, and I think he's had a nice connection with Cavani for Manchester United as that guy who's just in front of him who can play off and he can sort of then drive himself. But then again, you see Mbappe with his quite selfless to a point and playing on that left hand side and staying out the way a little bit. He was able to find those long balls to him as well. I think 6 of his 9 long balls sort of reached the player that he wanted it to. The one question I guess I come to two really, Mark, is one, him playing on that right hand side. It's always been a thing that for Manchester United, he can't play on the right hand side. He needs to play on the left. How did you feel about that? And then secondly, with the way that France played this game, where they actually played with quite a low block at times, do you think he'll have the same dominance when they play against teams where they're higher up the pitch and dominate the game a little bit more?
Yeah, in terms of his position, it does go back to the players he's playing with. I think that is the key, that the players in front of him, the players behind him, the players that can receive the passes, the players that can support him when he's moving forward. I just think at United that he doesn't have that support behind him. You know, Wan-Bissaka doesn't help him in terms of distribution on the right-hand side. And in terms of like where he can play across the front three, he can play left, he can play centre, he can play on the right. United play him in the holding role sometimes. He's not suited to that. I just think that when he's got the best players around him, he is a great player to have on your side. And that is ultimately what it is with Pogba. For me, he's the icing on the cake of a very good team. If you put him in the Man City team, it'd be fantastic. If you put him in the Liverpool team that Jurgen Klopp won the Premier League with, same again. But if you put him in a team that's struggling, you know, his qualities aren't there for you, unfortunately. I think that is the problem you have with Pogba, that he's at the wrong club. He's the right player for Man United at the wrong time. And whenever that right time will be, we don't know, because it's been a while now since there was a right time at Man United. But in terms of the way that France play going forward, they're just so devastating. They've got so much, they've got pace, they've got trickery, they've got skill, they've got vision. I don't think it matters who they play, what sort of defence to play against. They'll tear teams apart. And I think, for me, they were so far ahead of everything I've seen so far that they reminded me of the Spain team of the last decade, that at some point for that, in that period between 2010 and 2012, Spain were unbeatable. And I think France, I just looked at the lineup last night thinking, wow, look at that, look at those players in the team. Look at the players they haven't even picked. Upamecano's not even made the squad. They've just got such a fantastic array of talent and they're so far ahead of everybody else. I'd be stunned if they don't win it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.